Hello, welcome to my channel, Hollywood. Today I will be showing you how to do a daytime glam look on your eyes. In another video at some point I will show how to apply foundation and the rest of my face and my contouring. So enjoy, and hopefully you'll like it enough to subscribe. So, I like to start with my eye makeup first, before my foundation or anything, so that if I make a mistake I can clean it up more easily, without having to remove my entire base. So, first, I'm going to start by filling my eyebrows. And this is an optional step, but I feel like it makes them look a lot better. And for that, I'm going to take this shade in this NYC palette for the basic lining. Alrighty, so I'd say I had that about done. And as you'll see, I left the middle part of the eyebrow open for a lighter shade, because that'll look a little bit more natural. At least that's how I feel. And I'll probably just use the same brush. But for this, where I'm blonde, I like this golden shade in this REVLON palette. So, now that these are done, I know they look a little scary right now, but when I do my foundation it'll help these, and I'll reline them and go over any that kind of went outside the lines. So the next step here is primer for the eyelids. And for primer, this NYC palette actually has primer, so I'm just going to coat my lids in this. Alright, so now that the primer's all on, I like to take my first eyeshadow, which is this grayish brown. It's a really light color, and I'm going to put this on the front part of my lids. And I like to use this brush because I can pack a lot of pigment into it. So now that that's on, I'll shut the light off for a minute so that you can get a look at how the shade looks in more natural lighting. And since it's so light, I'm going to go in the crease with this bronze shade from the Maybelline palette. And I like to use this little flat-edged brush for that. Alrighty, so because I'm going to be blending this, I didn't try to be super natural with it. But sometimes if I'm going to be a little bit more dramatic with my eyes, I'll actually like leave them kind of blocky, and I won't blend, but I would have tried harder to make it more precise. But since I'm going to be blending, I use this brush, this little fluffy shadow blending brush, and kind of a champagne-y shade from this palette. Make sure to pack enough of the pigment in there, and then I'll blend this. So, since I pre-blended all of this, next, my next step will be to darken up the corners a little bit, kind of like eye contouring. And for that, I like to use the darkest brown that I have in my little hard candy palette here. And I prefer it to a black because my mascara is going to be black, and too much darkness on the eyes just doesn't look good to me. But for that, I like to use either my flat edge or my angled brush. Probably end up using a little angled brush here. Alrighty, now that I have that, going to have to blend it, and first I think we're going to add back in a little bit more of the bronze shade that I used originally, because a lot of the pigment came off with the blending. But for that, I like to use this nice little semi-blending brush. I'm going to take the bronze shade again and just go over everything I just did. And I'm going to use that gray shade and just go over the black part that's on the gray, or at least dark brown black. And now I'm going to blend this again. Now that that's done, I'm going to take either a sponge or a piece of cotton to wipe any excess to make it a little bit more sleek. For that, I prefer a sponge. And my next optional step is to line the underneath of the eyes with maybe a medium shade. I prefer to use that same bronze shade that I used before. What I like to do with that is start in the corner on the outside and move inward to about like either 3/4 or a half of the eye, and not really go all the way across, or if I do, I'll narrow the line. Alright, so my next step is going to be to line just the bottoms of my eyes, and this is one of L'Oreal's smoldering little eye crayons. And this is kind of a creamy formula, so it'll also top line underneath my eyelashes to make them look a little thicker every time I blink with this stuff on the bottom waterline. Make sure to thin out my line. And last I will do mascara, after curling my eyelashes, because it gives them a little bit of help. And that was my final step for eyes until after I do my foundation and blush and contouring and all of that. So next, I'll show you the final look. So as you saw at the beginning of this video, this is the final look. Please like, subscribe, and maybe even follow me on Instagram. Hollywood Glamour.